Assume that I'm creating an account record. Assume that I'm creating an account record. I'm trying to be creating a new account record, okay, inside my object. Now, so whenever I'm trying to be creating an account record, suppose if I'm selecting the industry value as banking, okay, if I'm selecting the industry value as a banking, then compulsorily rating value should be hard. Compulsorily rating value should be high because banking customers are very valuable customers. So I want to give the high rating. I want to give more preference to my banking customers because from the banking customers I'm generating huge revenue. I'm getting more profit. So that here I want to give more preference to my banking customers, so that I want to give the high rating for my banking customers. So that here, whenever I'm going to be creating an account record, or whenever you are updating an account record, at that time, if the account record's industry value is equals to banking, then compulsorily rating should be hard. Suppose if I'm creating the account record by selecting the industry banking and the rating equals to warm, or rating equals to cold, or rating equals to empty, then I don't want to accept that record. So whatever the account record you are going to create, if that account record industry equals to banking, then rating should be hot, mandatory. Or else don't allow the records to be get saved. This is my requirement. Then how can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. This is my requirement. Now, so let me take that use case. Create a validation rule. Create a validation rule to make sure the rating should be hard for banking customers, for banking industry customers, for banking industry customers. So I want to create a validation rule in order to make sure that the banking customers rating value should be always hard, or else don't allow these users. Don't allow that record over here. Then how can we do that? So now tell me, when you want to show the error message, I want to show the error message if the industry equals to banking and rating value not hot. Okay, rating value is not hot. That means if the user is selecting industry banking and the rating value they have selected other than hot, okay, like as warm or cold or empty, then I want to show the error message. Okay, then how do we know whether this account records industry value is equals to banking or not? For that one, we are going to be comparing. If is equal of industry field is equals to hot or not. Hot or not. So I'm verifying this. The currently selected value inside this industry field is equals to hot or not. If it is, sorry, if it is banking, sorry, banking. If the currently selected value inside this industry field is banking, then I want to verify whether rating is hot or not. Now, is equal rating, okay, is hot. Now, so now tell me when you want to show the error message here. I want to verify if the industry equals to banking, okay, if the industry equals to banking and rating value not hot. That means if the rating value other than hot, then I want to show the error message. For that one, how do we know? I need to specify not hot, not mentioned. I'm using not. That means, so now here industry equals to banking, pick list is not hard. Then I would like to combine both the condition. This is one condition and this is second condition. When you want to show the error message, if the industry value equals to banking and, okay, and the pick list value of rating is not hard, then only I want to show. So for that one, I'm using this end function. Okay, end function I'm using this. That's it, simple validation. So now I'm verifying this. If the industry value is equals to banking and rating value is not hot, that's what I have used that not function. If the rating value not hot, if the rating value is equals to other than hot, that means warm or cold or empty, then I want to show the error message because I want to make sure rating should be always a hot for banking customers. Okay, so for that reason, I'm going to be implementing this functionality. Now, let's create the validation rule right now. So let me create a validation rule. Click on new button to create a new validation rule. I'm indicating that here. Rule name. Rating should be hard for banking customers. Rating should be hard for banking customers. I want to apply the validation condition. So what is the condition here? This is the condition which I would like to use. Okay, I'm using this condition in order to verify whether this industry value is equals to banking or not. If it is banking, then I'm verifying this. If the in the rating value is not hard, then I want to show the error message. So now let's check the syntax over here. There is no syntactical mistakes inside my validation condition. Now show the error. Suppose if the rating value is not hard, then I want to show that here. So now rating should be hard for banking customers. Rating should be hard for banking industry, banking customers. Okay, now I want to show this error message at the rating field, because based on that industry we are deciding the rating value over here. So now here in this case I'm indicating this. I want to show this error message at that rating field level here. Now, so in this case I'm indicating that, so please display that error message, rating should be hard for banking customers at the rating field. Now click on save. Now my validation condition has been stored and then it has been created the validation rule. Now let's test this validation rule here. So let's try to create an account record or modify the existing record also, whatever, no problem. Okay, because validations are always firing on before insert and before update in both the cases. Now, in this case, click on new button. I'm indicating the account record name. So now the test account. Account numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. Type equals to some customer direct. Annual revenue, I'm indicating some value. Industry, I'm giving like some banking. Phone value, I'm entering some value over here. Facts, I'm giving some value. Website, I'm indicating like some cognizant.com. So rating here, I'm indicating like as wow. Now tell me, will it should accept this one? No, it should not accept over here. Okay, it should not accept. Because here, for the banking customers, rating should be always hard. It should not be wow. Now, when you click on save button, it has to show the error message to me. It is indicating that rating should be hard for banking customers. Suppose I'm selecting this value here, like as some code. Now, in this case, click on save button. It should not accept my record here. I'm selecting that empty value over here. When you click on save button, it should not accept to save my record over here. Now I'm selecting that industry equals to, so rating equals to hard. I'm going to be, when you click on the save button, it should accept the record, because here industry equals to banking and the rating equals to hard. Click on save. So now it should accept the record as it is here. The record can be accepted. So this is how we can able to validate the conditions also here. So in this case, whenever we are going to be creating the validation rules, we can specify the validation condition by using this is equal function also. Depends upon your application requirement, we can do this. This is how we are going to be using this is equal function inside your validation rules. Next, let's take one more use case here.
Can we use any generic characters?
Generic characters in the sense?
Suppose if I want to select whatever which starts with H or whichever is, which starts with letter B.
For the pick list, we can't use that. Okay, for the pick list, there are some certain options are available. From that only we can able to use. If it is a text, then we can able to use that starts with. Like that, here we will be having some functions will be available over there. During that validation rules, we can able to select those functions. But the pick list will be having the compulsorily some options are available. From that, we can able to choose it.
Okay. And suppose if we have a name city like a state and city, suppose if it is Andhra Pradesh, then this districts, and if it is Telangana, some districts. So
then at that time, you will be having that option of feature called as field dependency. There is a separate concept is there for the field dependency. So based on the country which was selected, then respect to states will be getting visible here. For that one, we are having that field dependency concept is there. That we'll see later.
Okay, thank you.
The next one, let's see one more use case. For example, assume that I'm creating a new account record inside my account object. Whenever I'm going to be creating a new record, what are the active status is available? Active status should be compulsorily yes. That is my requirement. Whenever you are creating a new account record, new account records status should be always yes. That means it should be in active status. It should not be inactive status. Whenever you are creating a new record should be always in active status. How can we do that? How do we know whether this record is a new or not? By using isNew function. How do we know whether this active status option is equals to yes or not? By using isPickWell function. So I'm using the combination of this. So what are the functions we have discussed as of now? We can use the combination of all these functions according to your business requirement. Now, so let's take a small use case over here. Now, create a validation rule. Create a validation rule to make sure the active status should be yes for new account records. So what are the new account records that you are creating inside your object? For those new account records, the active status should be always yes. Now, so now here in this case, how can we do this one? So first of all, we have to understand the requirement. So now when you want to show the error message upon creating a new account record, okay, so if the active status is not yes, that means active status is equals to no or empty, then at that time I want to display the error message. I want to show the error message when if the record is a new record, nothing but I'm creating a new record. At that time, if the active status value is not yes, then I want to show the error message. For that reason here, how do we know whether this record is a new record or not? I'm using isNew function. You know that. I'm using this isNew function. And then, how do we know whether this rating, the active status value is yes or not? For that one, I'm using this one. Okay, isPickWell. isPickWell of active status field. Active. The field name is underscore under active underscore C. I'm going to be comparing. Now, I'm verifying this. So when you want to show the error message, if the account record is a new one, then if the active status is not yes, okay, if the active status is not yes, then I want to show that. For that one, I'm combining both the functions by using this, okay, and isNew comma, I'm going to be adding that condition. That means if the record is a new record and the active status of this status field value of this account record is not yes, okay, not yes, then I want to show the error message. Now, so let me create this validation rule right now. I'm preparing a new validation rule. So now, as of now, how many validation rules that I have created over here on my account object? That is 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 4 validation rules I have created in account object. Like that, an object can have maximum of 100 active validation rules. In free developer edition, a table can have, an object can have maximum of 100 active validation rules. Suppose if it is unlimited edition can have maximum of 500 active validation. Okay, now this is the limitation. So I'm creating the 5th one on my object over here. I'm indicating this. New accounts should be in active status. I'm indicating that. New accounts should be in active status. That means whatever the new account record that I'm going to create, those new account records should be in active status. Now, so now here I'm going to be creating this validation rule. I'm specifying the condition over here. We have prepared the condition. Let me paste it. I'm preparing this condition. Now let's verify the syntax here. Click on check syntax. If there is any syntactical mistakes, it will display over here. So there is no syntactical mistakes over here. So it is showing that no errors found. Show this error message. Now, new customers should be in active status. New customers should be always in active. New customers should be always in active status. Now, I'm going to be displaying this error message over here. So new customers should be always in active status. So whenever you are creating a new account record, that new account record's active status should be always yes. It should not be no. It should not be empty. It should be always yes. Now, select that field where exactly you want to show the error message. I want to show this error message at the active status field. So I'm selecting this active status. Now let's see. So now my validation tool has been created successfully. So let's see. I'm creating a new account record. I'm giving that values like as. So now some Shyam Kumar. This is my account record I'm creating over here. I'm indicating the rating equals to warm. Account number some value. Type some installation partner. Industry is some food and beverages. Annual revenue some value. And the phone number I'm giving some value. Fax number I'm entering some value. Website I'm giving like a samark.com. And then I'm going to be indicating the active status as no. Okay, I'm indicating the active status as no. So now here in this case, so now I'm indicating this active status as no. So whenever you are creating a new account, that should be always in active status, right? Why we are creating the new record for a new customer? So if the account is inactive, then only he can able to use it. If the account is not in active status, then how he can use it? So for that reason here, I want to indicate that if the account record is a new record, then I want to make that account record should be in active status. For that reason here, I'm going to using isNew function. Now click on save button. So now it is indicating this error message over here. What is the error message? New customers should be always in active status. New customers should be always in active status. So now here in this case I'm going to be verifying this information over here. It is indicating this error message. On the top of the page also we can see, at the field level also we can see that. So now here I'm going to be indicating this active status as empty right now. Okay, empty. Now click on save button. It will not accept your record here because it compulsorily for the new records, active status should be yes. I'm indicating that active status as yes. Now click on save. It will be saving the record as it is. So this is how we are going to be preparing the validation conditions by using this is pick val function and the various combination of functions as well. Depends upon your application requirement. Okay, we are going to be adding that condition. It may be one, it may be multiple also. Now, the next function. Next one is prior value function. Prior value function. So what is this prior value function? Prior means what? Previous. Value means what? Value of the. Prior value means what? The previous value of this particular field. So suppose, for example, here assume that. Let me explain this scenario. For example, I'm having this accounting card. So what is the value of this rating field now? 1. Okay, this is 1. For example, I'm changing it to heart. Now tell me what is the current value? Heart. What is the previous value? 1. Okay, previously it is the value, it is having the value called as 1. Now I have modified it as heart. So in this case, what happened? If you want to collect the previous value, then that means the previous value is what? 1. If you want to collect the previous value, then we are using the help of a function called as prior value function. Prior value function is used to collect the previous value of that specified field. Whatever the field name that I have given over here, in this field, whatever the old value is there, that means previous value is there, I want to collect that value here. So that here, in order to collect the previous value of that specified field, we are going to be using a function called as prior value function. So why? Because is, let me explain a small concept. You know a function called as, okay, you know a function called as, okay, is changed function. What do you mean by this is a changed function? Is a changed function is going to be verifying whether the specified field value has been changed or not, whether the specified field value has been modified or not. How it is doing that here internally? What it will do is it will collect the previous value. It will collect the previous value of the field. It will collect the current value of the field. How can we collect the previous value? By using the prior value function. How can we collect the current value? By using text function. So internally it is using previous value function, and the text function will collect the current value. It will collect the previous value. It will compare both. If both are same, that means what? The field value is not changed. The field value is not changed because old value and new value both are same. That means the value is not yet modified. Suppose if the old value and new value both are different, that means what? The value has been modified. So this is how internally using this is changed function. Is changed function internal implementation is it is using prior value function and then text function over here. So that in order to know the current previous value of that specified field, we are using the help of a function called as prior value function. Okay. This function is used to get the previous value of the specified field. In order to collect the previous value or the old value, okay, previous value or old value of the specified field. Now, for example, how can we get this one? Prior value. Prior value of rating. That means what is the old value of the rating I want to collect? Prior value of phone field. What is the previous value of that phone? I want to collect that prior value of the location field. Location underscore. Like that, it may be standard field, it may be custom field. Anything we can able to specify. Now, so in this case, in order to collect the previous value of the specified field, we are using the help of prior value function over here. Now, how can we use it? Now, let's see practically in this case. Now, for example.
So what if the phone value doesn't change, sir?
Now, if it is changed, then I want to show some message. If it is not changed, I don't want to do that here. So in this case, what happened? It is just returning the previous value. That's it. Okay, it just returns the previous value over there. Okay, the prior value function will simply returns the previous value over there. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Now, So now let's take a small use case over here. Now, for example, let's come to a scenario. For example, assume that I'm using a bank account. Okay, I'm using a bank account. So whenever I'm going to be using the bank account, I'm performing so many transactions every day. So based on my transaction history, based on my credibility, the bank people are offering, okay, the bank people are offering a credit card. So initially what they will do, initially they are going to be offering a basic type of credit card, okay, a basic type of credit card, okay, which will be having the limitation of the complete card limitation of like as of 1 lakh rupee. The card limit is 1 lakh rupee. So I'm using this credit card and then I'm going to be purchasing some products through online by using this credit card. And then I'm going to be maintaining a very good credit history. Okay, I'm maintaining a very good credit history also. Because of this credit history here, next time they will be providing one premium card to me here. They will be providing one premium credit card to me, like as a gold credit card. So now which will be having some 2 lakhs of limitation. So I'm using this credit card. I'm purchasing that various products through online by using this credit card. I'm paying that EMI on time. I'm paying that credit card bill on time. There is no pending here. Okay, no pendings of my credit card bill. I'm paying that credit card bill on time. So next time what they will do, they are going to be giving a platinum card to me here. Platinum card. So where it will be having the limitation of some 5 lakhs. The card limit is 5 lakhs. That means what slowly they are going to be giving that, okay, priority. Slowly they are going to be giving the credit card to you. They're increasing the credit card limitation also. Depends upon your transaction history, depends upon your credibility. They're verifying that. So how you are performing the transactions, how you are paying the credit card bills, whether you are paying on time or not. Do we have any pendings are available? Do we have any check bounces are available or not? They'll verify your credit history based on your credibility, based on your credit history. Then only they will decide what will be the next credit card they would like to offer to you. So like the similar way here also, for example, as part of my organization, for these customers, I would like to give the ratings. For these customers also, I would like to give the rating. So initially we are providing that rating card as, okay, the code. Okay, initially they are going to be providing the option card as code. So now here in this case, okay, in this case here, I'm indicating this. Initially they're giving the rating card as code. Whenever a customer is new, I want to give the cold rating, the thing that less rating. Slowly, I would like to increase the rating for this customer. Slowly, I would like to increase the rating for that customer. Next time here, I would like to offer warm rating. And then next time, I would like to offer hot rating. So now depends upon the rating here, we are going to be offering some discounts also to the customer. The customer who is having the rating that is cold, those people will be getting 10% of discount. The people who are having the rating as warm, they will get 15% discount. The people who are having the rating as hot, they will be getting 25% of discount. So in this case here, now the customer is going to slowly increasing their ratings. So we can't offer the discount directly. So now here in this case here, we can't jump the customer from directly from cold to hot. So because there is one more step is available. So initially we are offering cold and then we are offering warm and then we are offering hot. Suppose for example, when you try to change the value from cold, okay, when you try to change the value here, currently the value is cold. When you try to change the value directly from cold to hot, it should not accept. Okay, it should not accept. Now tell me, so from the 10th class directly can I jump to the bachelor's degree? No, there is an intermediate, there is a middle is available. One more step is there. So which I need to complete. So after completion of your 10th class, then we have to go to the intermediate. Then only we can go to that, okay, bachelor's degree, whatever you want. So directly we can't jump. So in this case, what I want to do, whenever I'm going to be changing that rating value from cold to hot, I don't want to accept that. That means previous value is cold, new value is hot. That means cold to hot, directly I'm jumping. Then I want to show the error message, boss, you can't change the value directly from cold to hot. So we can go to from cold to warm and then warm to hot. These are the steps. So they have to follow those steps over here. Directly they can't jump. So now here in this case here, how can we prevent this one? Now let me show you practically in this case. So let's prepare a validation rule over here. Create a validation rule to prevent the user from changing the rating value from cold to hot. I don't want to allow the user to change the rating value from cold to hot directly. They have to move from cold to warm, warm to hot. These are the steps we have to follow. Then how can we do that? In this case, when you want to show the error message, I want to show the error message. If the previous value is cold, new value is hot. That means when you try to jump directly from cold to hot, then I don't want to accept. Then how can we collect the previous value by using the prior value function? Prior value of rating. So what is the prior value of this rating field? I would like to collect that here. Okay, I want to collect that rating value. Now I want to know whether this value is equals to hot or not. Whether this value is equals to hot or the cold or not. I want to verify that. The previous value is equals to cold or not. How can we compare? For that one, I'm using this is-equal. Is-equal of prior value of rating is equals to cold. Now, I'm using that, I'm collecting that old value. I'm collecting the old value. If the old value of this rating field is equals to cold or not, and then the current value is equals to hot. Okay, current value is equals to hot. Now I would like to verify. Current value means what here? Directly we can use rating field. Okay, rating field is equals to hot. Now, so when you want to show them an error message here, if the previous value of this rating field is equals to cold and the new value is equals to hot, then I want to show that error message. So that I'm going to be combining both the functions by using this and the function beside this. And combine. That's it. That means if the previous value of this rating field is equals to cold and the new value is equals to hot, then I want to show the error message. Then how can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. Now let's see the practical part. Now, so let me create a validation rule on this. I'm creating a new validation rule. The rule name I'm indicating over here. Rating cannot be changed from cold to hot. Cold to hot. So rating cannot be changed from cold to hot. Now, for this one here, I'm going to be indicating this validation condition. This is the condition which I'm using right now. I'm showing this error message. Check the syntax. There is no syntactical mistakes over here, and then I want to show the error message. So now here in this case, I'm indicating this error message. We cannot change the rating from cold to hot. You cannot change the rating from cold to hot. So I want to indicate that here. I want to show this error message at the rating field level. So select that field as rating field. I'm selecting this rating field. At this rating field, I want to show this error message. Now, let's try to create a new record here. So now here I'm indicating this. Now the rating value is cold. I'm saving this record. My record has been accepted as it is. I'm changing the value from cold to warm. That means previous value is cold, new value is warm. When you click on save, it should accept as it is. I'm changing the value from warm to hot. It should accept as it is here. That means I'm going to be a step ahead, like as cold to warm, warm to hot. Now I'm changing the value from hot to cold. Okay, I'm changing the value from hot to cold. Now it is accepting as it is here. Now I'm changing this value from cold to hot. The current value is cold. I'm changing this one, cold to hot. That means what previous value is cold, new value is hot. Now let's see. When you click on save, it should not accept that. It is showing this error message. You cannot change the rating from cold to hot. So there is one more step is there in middle between this cold and the hot. You have to move to the status. So in this case, I'm changing the status here from cold to warm, and then only they can able to move it to that hot. This is the way we can able to create that validation tool by using this prior value function.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if we have 4 values, then
Then we have to add multiple conditions.
like
Inside that end, we can able to add multiple conditions also. Check the multiple conditions. Okay. Now, the next one more function, regex function. Regex function. So now this function is also called as regular expressions. Okay, this function is also called as regular expressions. So what exactly the regex function and what is the use? The regex function is used to compare the field value with some specified format. Okay, so now regex function is used to compare the field value with a specified format. Like for example, assume that come to a general scenario. Assume that here I have a field. For example, I have a field. There is a pick list field. There is a text box field called as like a some PAN number. Enter PAN. There is a text box field to enter the PAN number of the customer. So this is the PAN number field. So now the customer is entering a PAN number value. For example, the customer has entered the PAN number value like this. Now, so now here in this case, so PAN number should be maximum of some 10 characters. So here he has entered some 10 characters. Now tell me, is this PAN number is in a valid format? Whatever the PAN number he has entered, is it in the correct format? No, this is not in the correct format. Okay, this is not in the correct format. Why? Because is PAN number is having a specific format. What is that format followed by the government of India? So PAN number should be look like this. This is the format. That means what? The first 5. The first 5 will be the characters. In the PAN number, first 5 should be characters. And the next 4 will be digits. And the last one will be a character. That means what? PAN number contains totally 10 characters. It's an alphanumerical number which contains alphabetical characters in the numerical numbers, not special characters. So PAN number should have 10 characters alphanumerical number. From that PAN number, the first 5 will be the characters, next 4 will be the digits, last one will be the character. This is the PAN number format following by the Government of India. So now tell me, today customer has entered a PAN number. This is a PAN number. Yes, of course he has entered some 10 characters. Now tell me, is it in a valid format? Is it a valid format of PAN number? No. So in this case, how can we verify that? How can we verify? So whatever the PAN number entered by the customer, is it in a valid format or not? So in this case, in order to compare a field value with a specific format, in order to compare a field value with a specific format, we are going to be using a feature called as regular expressions. So to prepare that regular expressions and then to validate the data based on the regular expressions, we are using a function called as regex function. Regex means regular expression. So this function is used to validate a specific field value, okay, is available in the specified format or not. In order to compare a field value with a specific format, we are going to be using this. So now, in this case here, this function will return true when if the field is in the specified format, then only it will return true, or else it will return false. So in this case, now what we need to do? Whenever if you want to compare that field with a specific format, then we have to give the format first. In which format you want to compare over. We need to prepare that format. Then how to prepare that format? What are the various wildcard characters supported by the Salesforce in order to prepare this regular expression? We'll see practically in this case. Okay. Now, so let me give the note point over here. Regex. This function is used to compare a field value. The field value is exists in the specified format or not. If the field value is exists in the specified format, then it returns true. Then it returns true. Else it returns false. Else it returns false. Now, so in this case here, what needs to be done? Whenever if you want to compare this field value with the specified format, then we have to prepare the expression first. With which format you want to compare. So let me give the syntax. I'm giving that syntax to you. In this case, you have to specify regex. Regex, and we can specify the field name. Field name, comma, regular expression. Regular expression. Okay, regular expression. So we have to pass these two parameters, field name and the regular expression. Then how to prepare this regular expression? So we need to prepare the format. Okay, we need to prepare the format or expression based on the various wildcard characters supported by Salesforce. Salesforce is supporting so many wildcard characters. Based on those wildcard characters only, we can able to prepare the regular expression. Based on that regular expression only, we can able to compare a field value with the specified format. Now, in this case, we need to prepare the format to be used to compare the field value. Field value. Now, we can prepare the expression or format with the help of wildcard characters. Wildcard characters. We can prepare the format or expressions by using wildcard characters. Then what wildcard characters this Salesforce will support as part of validations? Now let's see practically in this case. So now Salesforce supports the below wildcard characters. Salesforce supports the below wildcard characters. What are the various wildcard characters supported by the Salesforce to be used inside the validation rules? Now let's see practically. Now, the first wildcard character is square braces. So now the square braces represents a group of characters. Square braces represents a group of characters. That means we can able to have a group of characters over here. Now, sometimes inside this we can specify some characters. Yes, P, A. That means what it will do here. So whatever the word you are going to compare, okay, whatever the word you are going to compare, that word should be having all the characters that will be either with the combination of A and the P and the N. That means it represents a word. Okay, it represents a collection of characters. Word means what? A group of characters. So it represents a word which should be prepared by using the characters A, P, and the S. Okay, A, P, and the S. That word should not have any other characters. That word should be having the characters A, P, and the S. Now, in this case, it represents a word which has been prepared by using the characters A, S, and the P. It represents a word which should be prepared, which has been prepared by using the characters A and the P and the S. Now, sometimes we can give that range of characters also. These are specific characters, S, P, and the A. So sometimes we can give the characters, okay, A to Z. A to Z. In this case, what happened? It is going to be representing a word which has been prepared by using the various characters which are between A to Z. It may be A, it may be B, C, D, like that. So multiple characters we can take between A to Z, and then we can able to prepare a word. Like as some welcome. So in the welcome, how many characters are there? 7 characters. First character is W, that is between A to Z. Second character E, that is between A to Z. And then L, between A to Z. C, between A to Z. And O, between A to Z. M, between A to Z. E, between A to Z. So these are all the characters are between A to Z only here. So it is indicating that. Okay. Now, it represents a word.
Feroz, like for the previous one, it can be A, SP, or all the 3 should be there.
No, yeah, A, S, P. Only these with these 3 characters only you can able to prepare a word. Like
All
A,
these 3
P,
has
P,
to
S,
be present. All the 3 have to be present, or any one, any A or S or P, or how?
yeah, any one of this, any one of
Anyone.
this,
Okay.
anyone. Okay. Now, the next one. So now A to Z, it should be representing a word, so which should be prepared by using the collection of characters, where each character should be between small a to small z. Between small a to small z. The next one. And the next one, 0 to 9. Okay, 0 to 9. So what it represents? It represents a number. Okay, it represents a number which should be prepared by using the various digits which are between 0 to 9, like as 123. In that one is between 0 to 9, 2 is between 0 to 9, 3 is between 0 to 9. Like that here, between 0 to 9 over here. So each number should be prepared. Okay, each number should be prepared between digits 0 to 9. Now, it represents a number which should contains contains the digits between 0 to 9. Which contains the digits between 0 to 9. Now, the next one, flower braces. Flower braces here you can give the integer over. What it represents here, it is going to representing the specified number of characters. Okay, it represents the specified number of characters or digits. It represents the specified number of characters or digits. So these are the various wildcard characters supported by Salesforce. Okay, these are the various wildcard characters supported by Salesforce.
No special characters?
You can specify the special characters over here. Depends upon this format. You can give that special characters also.
Because like in email field, without @ it should not accept. So like that.
Right. So you have to specify that @ also inside this. In these characters, you have to give @ also. So it should contain @ as well.
Firoz, can we specify the position of the characters?
No, we can't specify the characters, but we can specify the number of characters. I will show you that option also here. Okay. Now, so in this case, how can we prepare this one? So now let's see. For example, assume that. Let's take a general scenario. I want to prepare the PAN number format. PAN number format. So how the PAN number will be look like? PAN number will be look like this. This is the PAN number, for example. So which is having the first 5 will be the characters. Next 4 will be the digits. Last one will be a character. So in this case, how can we do this one? First 4 will be characters. So these characters are between what? A to Z only. So that we can specify here A to Z. How many characters are available? 4. But that one we can specify 4. So that first 4 will be the characters which should be prepared by using the characters between A to Z. Next, what is the next one? Digits. So now between what? These will be 0 to 9. How many? 4. Sorry. The first 5 will be the characters. Next 4 will be digits. And the last one will be what? Okay, character. So A to Z. How many? 1. This is the PAN number format. So we are going to preparing the PAN number format in order to validate that. This is the regular expression which we have to use in order to verify whether the PAN number entered by the user in this specified format or not. Now, so in this case here we are going to be using this A to Z of 5. That means here I'm indicating that first 5 will be the characters and the next 4 will be the digits and the last one will be the character. Suppose in this case here I'm indicating only A to Z, so it will accept only the uppercase letters, not lowercase letters. So now suppose, for example, if I'm giving the PAN number like this, then only it will accept here. Suppose if I'm giving the PAN number like this here, last one is the small character, it won't accept. Because here also I have given capital A to Z, here also I have given capital A to Z. So sometimes I want to accept that PAN number. It may be in uppercase, lowercase, combination also. Then what we can do at that time, we have to prepare this format. We have to prepare the format with the combinations. Okay, with the combinations. How? So now capital A to Z, comma small a to Z. Here also capital A to Z, comma small a to Z. That means here the first 5 will be the characters. Those characters may be the combination of small and the capital letters, or all are capitals, or all are small, or all are combination also. So next 4 will be the digits, and then last one will be a character that may be either uppercase or lowercase. In this case here we can able to validate this format also. This is how we are going to be preparing the validation expression. That means the regular expression with the help of this wildcard characters which has been given by Salesforce. Now sometimes here you can raise a question. Sir, my PAN number should be like this here. Hyphen. Here also hyphen. Then what we can do here also we can give the hyphen over here. So now capital A to Z, small a to Z here. So now 5. And after that here digits hyphen. We can able to give that one. But in this case, the total number of characters to be allowed in the field will be 12 digits. Okay, 5, 4, 1, 10, and then 2 hyphen. Totally 12 characters length should be there for that field. Generally, upon creating the PAN number field, we are giving that length as 10 digits or the 10 characters. But we have to give 12 because we are accepting 2 hyphens also over there. So this is how we are going to be preparing this format. So now let's see in this case. For example, I want to prepare the credit card format here. Okay, credit card validation format. How can we prepare the credit card validation? Credit card number validation. In this case, what the credit card contains here, okay, 16-digit number will be available to you. Okay, it will be having a 16-digit number. Then what needs to be done here? First of all, it should be having that 0 to 9. Okay, 0 to 9. How many? 4. Hyphen. I should have that hyphen over here. And the next one, 0 to 9. That should be 4. Hyphen. And then 0 to 9. How many? 4. Hyphen. 0 to 9. How many? 4. Like that, we can specify the credit card format also. So if I'm entering the data in this format, then only Salesforce will accept, or else it won't allow you to save your record. So that here, whenever if you want to validate, okay, if you want to validate the field data with this specified format, then we can use the help of that regular
Can you
expression.
give an example for email also?
Now email IDs here validations we can able to collect from Google also, because in Salesforce we no need to prepare any email ID validation because you have that inbuilt validation for the email field. Upon creating the field, you have to select that email. That's it. Email data type field. It is having inbuilt validation by default here. We don't need to do that.
Okay.
Now,
If first 2 digits are constant, like same for everything, like bike registration number, if like TS is for Telangana, so like that, is there any option?
now at that time we can able to specify that here. So first 2 digits will be like as some AP. At that time we can able to specify AP or TS. You can specify that here. You will be having the TS. Okay, TS. That should be mandatory over here. Okay, TS should be mandatory. After that, we can able to specify the numbers whatever you want over here. Depends upon your requirement. You will be having a 2 digits should be there. Okay, you can specify 0 to 9. 2 digits will be there. And then after that, you will be having that 4-digit number here. Okay, the registration number. Like a 0 to 9, you will be having that 4-digit. Like that, we can able to specify. Like as a TS 09 or TS 31, some 2233. Like that, we can able to indicate that format. Depends upon your requirement. Okay. So now let's see how can we prepare this validation condition over here in this case by using this regex function. For example, I'm having a field called as PAN number. Like when you go to the candidate object, inside my candidate object, I'm having a field called as some PAN number. Do we have any PAN number field? Passport required is no PAN number field. So let me go to a object here, patient object, any of the object, whatever you want. I would like to have a field called as PAN number. Okay, I would like to have a field called as PAN number. Let me take the contact object. Let me create a field with the name PAN number. Currently, these other fields are available inside my contact object. I'm creating one custom field. Create a new custom field. Select the data type as a text. Okay, select the data type as text. Click on next button. Specify the field label as PAN number. PAN number. I'm indicating the length as 10. That means PAN number field should accept maximum of 10 characters, not more than that. If you're entering 2 characters also, it will save as it is, no problem. Now, so now here in this case, I'm making this field as mandatory, required checkbox. Click on next. Click on next and make it save. So now let's go to your contact record. Refresh this user interface. It is showing that field called as PAN number field, which is a mandatory. I'm creating a new contact over here. I'm indicating first name is Ramana and then second name is Manohar. I'm indicating the PAN number as some, okay, AL, okay. 2 characters are entered. Now tell me, is it a valid PAN number? No. When you click on save button,
No.
it is going to be accepting the record as it is. But without entering the proper PAN number, it is accepting the record here. Because I made the field as mandatory, I have given the length as 10. That means 10 means what? We can enter up to 10 characters. It may be 1 characters, 2 characters, 3 characters, up to 10 characters you can enter, not more than. But when coming to the PAN number, compulsorily we have to enter 10 digit, 10 characters alphanumerical number, where first 5 will be the characters, next 4 will be the digits, last one will be a character. This is the format we need to prepare over here. Then how can we prepare this format? Now let's see. I'm creating a validation tool on this here. I'm creating a validation tool. Now, PAN number validation format. PAN number format validation. I'm giving the description as PAN number format validation. I'm preparing the expression. When you want to show this error message, if the field value is not in this format, for example, I'm using this regex. What is that field here? PAN number field. Select the field name, like as PAN number. So in this PAN number field, whatever the value is there, if the field is not available in this format, what is the format for the PAN number? I'm indicating like this. So I'm indicating, so now small a to z, comma, capital A to Z. How many characters you would like to allow? 5 characters I want to allow. Next, 0 to 9 digits. How many? 4. And then I want to allow small a to z, comma, capital A to Z. How many? 1. I want to allow. This is the PAN number format I want to use. So now here I'm indicating that small a to z, comma, capital A to Z. That means how many characters? 5. And then how many digits? 4. And then last one will be characters. In this case, what happened? I want to show the error message. When if the PAN number field value is not in this format. So now for that one I'm using not function. So if the PAN number field value is not in this format, then I want to show this error message. Now check the syntax. So now the syntax is correct. Now I'm indicating here. I'm indicating that. Please enter the valid PAN number. Please enter the valid PAN number. I want to give the message to the user, please enter a correct PAN number here. Don't enter the wrong PAN. I'm indicating the field. At what field level you want to show the error message? I want to show the error message at that PAN number. Now click on save. So now my rule has been saved right now. Let's open that contact record, whatever we have, or else create a new contact record also, whatever. Because it is firing on both the cases, upon creation, upon updation also. So I'm going to be creating a new PAN number. Validation test contact. I'm giving that PAN number as like as some AL PPI. So now 89897. That means 5 characters, 5 digits. Is it a valid? No. Let's click on save, but it won't allow. It is indicating that please enter the valid PAN number. So here I'm giving that 4 characters, 5 digits, 1 character. That means now 4 characters, 5 digits, 1 character. That means here wrong format again. Click on save. It is not accepting here. Please enter the valid PAN number. Now I'm entering like here. The first 5 will be the characters. Next 4 will be the digits. Last one is a character. Now click on save. Now it will accept the record as it is here. So if you are not entering the PAN number in the valid format, it won't allow you to save your record. This is how we are going to be preparing the validation condition by using the regular expression.
Sir, what if I want to prepare the combination of both characters, integers, and special characters, but I don't know the length of this string? So can I do that?
What do you want to do in this case?
Like the password, it can accept all kind of the characters, but it should be like 8 characters to 15 characters or something like that.
Then you can use length function. There is a function called as length function which will allow the specified number of characters only here. We can compare how many characters the user has entered. Minimum like as, okay, minimum length should be like as some 8, maximum should be 15. Suppose if the user is entering the password like a 6 characters, don't allow him. Show the error message over there.
Okay, in that length function, can I use any kind of like or the first value or second value? I can use the special characters and
no. Length function will be indicating whenever you are passing the field name to the length function. Length function will return first of all how many number of characters are there inside that field. Then we have to collect that value. Then we have to validate that one by using your own format by using regex function. Both you have to use length function, regex function. Both you have to use by using the end function here. Internally, because previously we have used is new function and then is equal functions also combinations. Like that we have to use with the length function and we can use that regex function both.
But I don't know the pattern, like patterns are like it can accept at any value, like the first value or second value or third value. It can accept any kind of characters, like any symbols like that.
Then if you want to accept all the formats, you want to accept all the formats, or what exactly your requirement?
Let's say I need to enter a value which is between 8 to 15, but I can enter any kind of values like special characters, integers, like that on first value or second value or any kind.
Then at that time simply go with the length function. Simply go with the length function and then make that length should be maximum 15. Okay, that's it. Because we are not expecting a specific characters, like as if you want to expect like as first character should be this one, last character should be this one. We are not expecting like that. Any character they can enter here, but they should be enter maximum of 15, 8 to 15. At that time, just to go with that length function.
Okay, that. Okay, sir. Thank you. I got it.
So create a validation rule to validate the PAN number. I'm indicating this condition. These are the various functions which we are using as part of your validations. Okay, as part of validation, these are the various functions we are using in order to validate the data. So in tomorrow's session, we'll see a new feature called as formulas. What exactly a formula field? What is the use? How to prepare a formula field? what are the various functions we can use upon preparing the formula fields. We'll see practically in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we are going to be discussing about the concept of formula fields and the various ready-made functions which we can use inside these formulas. We'll see practically. Okay.
And sir, how many topics are left for 7:30 batch for admin?
So we'll be having security.